The morning sky blazed with an unusual light that caught Tom Miller's attention as he stood on his forest ranger tower. 20 years of watching over this quiet part of Montana's wilderness hadn't prepared him for what he was about to witness. A bright object, trailing smoke and fire, cut through the dawn sky like a wounded bird. Tom grabbed his emergency kit and radio, his heart pounding as he watched the object disappear behind the tree line. The ground shook moments later, and a flock of startled birds took to the air. He knew every inch of his forest, and that crash site couldn't be more than 2 miles from his position. "Base, this is Tower 7, he spoke into his radio. "I've got a possible aircraft down, heading to investigate. Coordinates to follow." He rattled off the rough location and began his descent from the tower. The morning dew still clung to the pine needles as Tom made his way through the forest. The air smelled different, like metal and ozone, a sharp contrast to the usual pine and earth. As he got closer, broken branches and scorched vegetation marked a clear path to the crash site. What he found made him stop dead in his tracks. This was no airplane. The object was roughly the size of a small bus, its silver-blue surface still smoking from entry. The design was like nothing he'd ever seen. Smooth curves and materials that seemed to shift colors in the morning light. Parts of it had broken open, revealing strange technology that pulsed with a soft blue glow. "Base," he started to radio in, but movement caught his eye. Among the wreckage, something was moving. Tom approached carefully, his trained eyes scanning for any signs of danger. What he saw next would change his life forever. A figure lay half-trapped under a panel of the strange metal. It was clearly not human, though its form was humanoid. The creature's skin had a pale bluish tint, and what looked like fine, iridescent scales covered parts of its body. But what struck Tom most were its eyes. Large, intelligent, and filled with pain and fear. The creature was trying to free itself, making soft clicking sounds that somehow conveyed distress. Tom's 20 years of rescue experience kicked in. Injured was injured, human or not. "Hey there," he said softly, keeping his voice calm and steady. "I'm here to help. Let me help you." The alien's eyes fixed on him, and Tom saw something he recognized instantly. The look of a parent in panic. The creature wasn't just trying to free itself. It was pointing frantically at another section of the wreckage, making more urgent clicking sounds. Tom moved closer, showing his empty hands. "Easy now. Let's get you out first, then we'll look for whoever you're worried about." As he worked to free the alien, he noticed its injuries. There were cuts and what looked like burns across his body, and one of its legs was badly hurt. The creature never stopped trying to point to other parts of the wreck, its movements becoming more desperate. Once free, the alien tried to stand but collapsed. It grabbed Tom's arm with a 3-fingered hand, its touch surprisingly warm. The clicking sounds became more intense, and it kept pointing toward the forest. That's when Tom understood. There was someone else, someone who had been thrown from the ship. He needed help, and he needed it fast. This was bigger than anything he could handle alone. Tom pulled out his phone and called the one person he knew would help without asking too many questions. His old friend Dr. Anna White, the local vet who had patched up everything from bears to bobcats. "Anna," he said when she answered, "I need you at my location with your full kit." And Anna, "Don't tell anyone else what I'm about to tell you." As he waited for Anna to arrive, Tom sat with the injured alien, trying to provide whatever comfort he could. The morning sun rose higher, casting long shadows through the trees, while somewhere in his forest, he knew there was another survivor who needed help. Time was running out. Dr. Anna White arrived at the crash site within 30 minutes, her old truck bouncing over the rough forest roads. She had known Tom for 15 years, and never had she heard such urgency in his voice. As she stepped out of her truck with her medical kit, she froze at the sight before her. "Tom," she whispered, "when you said injured mother, I didn't expect this." The alien lay on a blanket Tom had spread out, its chest rising and falling with quick, shallow breaths. Anna's medical training kicked in, overriding her shock. She knelt beside the creature, opening her kit with steady hands. "She's been trying to tell me something," Tom explained, watching Anna check the alien's vital signs. "I think there's a child out there somewhere. She keeps pointing at the forest and making these sounds." The alien mother's eyes locked onto Anna as she worked. Despite the strange anatomy, Anna could recognize signs of blood loss and trauma. The leg injury was severe, but what worried her most was the blue-tinted liquid seeping from a wound in the alien's side. "We need to stop this bleeding," Anna said, pulling out supplies. "But Tom, we can't keep this quiet for long. A crashed spaceship isn't exactly something we can hide." As if understanding their words, the alien mother reached for something around her neck. Her three-fingered hand trembled as she pulled out a small device. It flickered to life, projecting a hologram into the air between them. Tom and Anna gasped as they saw the image, a smaller version of the alien mother, clearly a child. The projection showed the young alien playing with something that looked like a toy. The mother made a series of urgent clicks, touching the hologram with a gentle finger. "The child," Anna said softly. "She's showing us her child." The alien mother nodded, a surprisingly human gesture, and pointed again toward the forest. She tried to stand but fell back, her face contorted in pain. "Stay still," Anna said firmly, placing a hand on the alien's shoulder. "Tom, we need a search party, but we need people we can trust. This needs to stay quiet until we find the child." Tom nodded, already pulling out his phone. "I know just the people. Mark from Search and Rescue owes me a favor, and his team is good at keeping secrets." Within an hour, a small group of trusted locals had gathered. Mark brought his best tracking dogs, though he wasn't sure they could track an alien scent. The alien mother watched anxiously as they prepared for the search, her hands clutching the hologram device. Anna stayed with the injured mother, working to stabilize her condition. She had never seen anatomy like this before, but some things were universal: pain, fear, and a mother's love for her child. The mother somehow managed to activate another feature of her device. A map-like projection appeared, showing heat signatures in the surrounding forest. One particular spot, about 2 miles away, pulsed with a unique pattern. "Tom," Anna called out. "Look at this. Could that be the child?" The alien mother's clicks became more excited as she pointed at the pulsing light. Tom quickly copied the location to his GPS. "Mark, gather the team," Tom ordered. "We have a possible location. And remember, not a word of this to anyone outside this group. That child is probably scared and hurt. We need to find them before anyone else does." As the search team headed out, Anna noticed tears in the alien mother's eyes. Not water, but something that sparkled like tiny crystals. She reached out and took the mother's hand, surprised by how similar it felt despite its differences. "They'll find your little one," Anna promised, hoping her tone would convey what her words couldn't. "Tom's the best tracker I know. He won't stop until your child is safe." The alien mother squeezed Anna's hand, and in that moment, the gap between their species seemed to shrink. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, the search team disappeared into the forest, while two very different mothers shared a moment of understanding that transcended the vast distance between their worlds. Lucy Baker was 10 years old, and this was her favorite time of year to visit her grandfather Jack's cabin in the woods. The morning air was crisp, and she had convinced him to let her explore the nearby stream, where she loved to collect pretty rocks. "Don't go too far, Pumpkin," Jack called from the cabin porch, where he sat in his old rocking chair. "Stay where I can hear you." "Okay, Grandpa," Lucy shouted back, skipping down the well-worn path to the stream. She was arranging her rocks by color when she heard it, a soft whimpering sound coming from behind a large fallen log. Lucy thought it might be an injured animal. Her grandfather had always taught her to be careful around hurt wildlife, but something about this sound made her curious. "Hello," she called softly, stepping closer to the log. "Are you hurt?" The whimpering stopped. Lucy peered over the log and gasped. Curled up in a small hollow was a creature unlike anything she had ever seen. It looked like a child, but its skin had a blue tint and tiny, shimmering scales. Large, frightened eyes stared back at her. Lucy did what came naturally to her. She smiled. The alien child, who seemed to be about her size, blinked in surprise. "It's okay," Lucy said gently. "I won't hurt you. Are you lost?" The alien child uncurled slightly, revealing torn clothes and a few scrapes. It made a soft clicking sound that reminded Lucy of the dolphins she had seen at the aquarium. Lucy sat down slowly, keeping her movements gentle. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a bright blue stone she had just found in the stream. The alien child's eyes followed the stone as Lucy held it out. "Do you want to see?" she asked. The alien child hesitated, then reached out with a three-fingered hand. As it touched the stone, Lucy noticed how its scales shimmered in the sunlight, creating beautiful patterns. "Pretty," Lucy said, pointing to the patterns. The alien child looked at its own arm, then at Lucy, and made a sound that almost seemed like a laugh. Lucy pulled out more stones from her collection and arranged them in a circle. The alien child watched with growing interest, then reached out to help arrange them. Soon, they were playing a simple game of patterns with the stones, communicating through gestures and smiles. "Lucy," her grandfather's voice called out, "everything okay down there?" The alien child startled, trying to hide, but Lucy quickly grabbed its hand. "It's okay. That's just my grandpa. He's nice." "Lucy," Jack's voice was closer now. "Who are you talking to?" "Grandpa." Lucy called back. "I found someone who needs help, but you have to promise not to be scared." Jack appeared through the trees, his old joints creaking as he made his way down to the stream. He stopped dead in his tracks when he saw Lucy sitting with the alien child. "Good Lord," he whispered. "Grandpa." "They're scared," Lucy said firmly, still holding the alien child's hand. "And I think they're lost." Jack had seen many things in his 70 years, but nothing like this. Yet the sight of his granddaughter sitting there, holding hands with a creature from another world, touched something deep in his heart. "Well," he said softly, kneeling down despite his bad knee, "we'd better help them then, shouldn't we?" Just then, they heard voices calling in the distance. The alien child perked up, making excited clicking sounds. "Hello," a man's voice called. "This is Forest Ranger Tom Miller. We're looking for a lost child." "Over here," Jack called back. "We've got them. They're safe." The alien child looked at Lucy, and for a moment, their eyes met in perfect understanding. Lucy squeezed its hand and smiled. "See," she said, "I told you it would be okay." As the search team approached, Lucy kept hold of her new friend's hand. She didn't understand where they came from or how they got here, but she knew one thing for sure. Sometimes the best friendships start with a simple act of kindness and a handful of pretty rocks. 3 days had passed since the crash, and Dr. Anna White hadn't left the makeshift medical facility they'd set up in Tom's ranger station. The alien mother was recovering slowly, but the real breakthrough came from an unexpected source: the damaged device found in the spacecraft. Anna watched in amazement as Tom tinkered with the alien device on his desk. Despite being a forest ranger, he had always been good with technology. The device sparked to life, projecting strange symbols into the air. "I think I've got it working," Tom said, adjusting something inside the small metal box. "Their technology is advanced, but the basics are similar to ours. It looks like some kind of universal translator." The alien mother sat propped up on a cot nearby, her daughter curled up asleep beside her. She pointed at different symbols, making soft clicking sounds. With each click, the device hummed and glowed brighter. Suddenly, a mechanical voice filled the room. "Gratitude. Help. Safe." Anna nearly dropped her coffee cup. "Tom, it's working." The alien mother's eyes widened. She spoke again, And this time the translation was clearer. "Thank you for saving my child. Thank you for your kindness." Tom and Anna exchanged amazed looks. The alien mother continued, her clicks now turning into understandable words through the device. "My name." The device paused, then produced a sound like gentle waves hitting the shore. "But you may call me Blue, for my color." "Blue," Anna repeated softly. "I'm Anna, and this is Tom. Can you tell us what happened? Why did you come to Earth?" Blue's expression grew sad. The translator conveyed her words. "We fled from war. Our homeworld, destroyed by those who seek power. Many of us scattered across the stars. Earth, similar to our world, hoped to find refuge. Not meant to crash. Not meant to bring danger to your people." "You're not bringing danger," Tom assured her. "You're bringing hope." Just then, Lucy arrived with her grandfather Jack for their daily visit. The alien child, who they now called Star because of the way her scales sparkled, woke up and ran to greet her friend. The two girls had become inseparable over the past few days. "Mom," Lucy called out excitedly, "Star taught me a game from her world. Look." She pulled out some stones and began arranging them in complex patterns. Star clicked happily, adding her own stones to the design. Blue watched the children play, and the translator picked up her words. "On our world, this game teaches young ones about star navigation. My daughter, she has not played it since we fled. Your child has given her back her joy." Jack settled into a chair, watching the girls play. "It's amazing," he said. "They don't need a translator. They just understand each other." As they watched, Star began drawing something in a notebook Lucy had given her. The translator hummed as Blue explained. "She draws our home world. The 3 moons, the crystal forests, all gone now. But perhaps," she paused, looking at the humans around her, "perhaps we can find a new home here." Anna checked Blue's wounds, noting how quickly they were healing. "Your cellular regeneration is remarkable," she said. "I've never seen anything like it." The translator conveyed Blue's response. "Our bodies adapt quickly. It helped us survive on many worlds during our escape. But adaptation is not just physical. My daughter and I, we are learning to adapt our hearts too." Tom looked out the window, where military vehicles had begun to gather at the edge of the forest. They had managed to keep the situation quiet for 3 days, but word was spreading. "We'll need to figure something out soon," he said. "Others will want to know about you." Blue touched the translator, her words clear and determined. "We have seen your kindness, your daughter's love for my child, your healer's gentle hands, your protector's brave heart. If all humans are like you, perhaps this is where our journey was meant to end." As the afternoon sun filtered through the windows, Lucy and Star continued their game, their laughter needing no translation at all. In that moment, they weren't human and alien. They were simply 2 children, building a bridge between worlds with nothing more than stones and smiles. The morning sun cast long shadows through the trees as Lucy and Jack's truck bounced along the forest road toward Tom's ranger station. Star sat between them, her scales shimmering with excitement. After a week of recovery at their cabin, it was finally time for Star to reunite with her mother. "Almost there," Lucy said, holding Star's hand. The alien child had grown stronger over the past week. The scratches from the crash nearly healed. She made happy clicking sounds, pointing at the ranger station as it came into view. Outside the station, a small group had gathered. Tom stood talking with 2 official-looking people in suits, while Dr. Anna checked on Blue, who sat in a wheelchair on the porch. Military vehicles were parked at a respectful distance, their presence both protective and cautious. The truck had barely stopped when Star leaped out, her feet barely touching the ground as she ran. Blue's whole body lit up at the sight of her daughter, her scales glowing with a soft blue light that none of them had seen before. "Star," Blue called out through the translator, her arms opening wide. The device's mechanical voice couldn't capture the emotion, but everyone felt it in their hearts. Star crashed into her mother's arms, both of them glowing now. Their clicking sounds mixed with what could only be described as singing, a high, beautiful sound that made the leaves on the trees shiver. Lucy wiped tears from her eyes as she watched. "They're glowing, Grandpa. Look how pretty." Blue held her daughter tight, their scales creating patterns of light that danced across the porch. The translator picked up their words. "My little star, my brave one, you survived." Star pulled back just enough to look at Lucy, then clicked something to her mother. The translator spoke. "The human child. She found me. She showed me kindness when I was afraid." Blue reached out a hand toward Lucy, who came forward shyly. "Then she is family now," the translator said. "In our world, those who save our children become part of our heart clan." The officials watched this scene unfold, their stern expressions softening. One of them stepped forward, speaking quietly to Tom. "Maybe we need to rethink our approach here." Tom nodded, but kept his attention on the reunion. He watched as Star showed her mother the notebook full of drawings she had made at Lucy's cabin. Pictures of their games, of the forest, of their new friends. "Look," Star said through the translator, pointing to a drawing. "Lucy taught me about earth trees. They're different from crystal trees, but beautiful too." Blue smiled, touching each drawing gently. "And you taught her our star path game." Star nodded enthusiastically, pulling out the stones from her pocket. Soon, both children were sitting on the porch, setting up the game. Blue explained through the translator. "This game, it traditionally teaches children about the stars we use for navigation. But now," she paused, watching the girls play, "now it builds bridges between worlds." Anna checked Blue's wounds one last time, amazed at the healing progress. "Your recovery is remarkable," she said, "especially now that you're reunited with Star. It's like your happiness is actually healing you." The translator conveyed Blue's response. "In our species, emotional bonds strengthen our physical healing. Being apart from Star, it slowed my recovery. But now," she looked at her daughter, then at Lucy, "now we have more bonds than ever." As the afternoon wore on, more local people gathered at a distance, drawn by the strange, beautiful lights coming from the alien visitors. Instead of fear, there was wonder in their faces. The girls continued playing their game, adding new rules that mixed both Earth and alien traditions. Star taught Lucy how to create simple light patterns with arrangements of stones, while Lucy showed Star how to skip rocks across the small stream behind the station. "Look at them," Jack said softly to Tom. "They don't see their differences. They just see each other." As the sun began to set, casting orange light across the scene, Star and Lucy had invented an entirely new game, one that belonged neither to Earth nor to their lost alien world, but to the shared space between them. Their laughter, mixed with clicks and glowing lights, filled the forest with hope. 2 weeks after the crash, Tom's ranger station had become the center of something much bigger than anyone had expected. Government officials came and went, their black cars stirring up dust on the forest road. But the local community had formed a protective circle around Blue and Star, led by Tom, Anna, and the Baker family. That morning, an important meeting was taking place inside the station. Blue sat at Tom's desk, Star close by her side, while Lucy watched from her usual spot near her friend. The translator device hummed steadily as important words filled the room. "We understand your situation," said Mr. Wilson, the lead government representative. "But we need to know, are others of your kind coming to Earth?" Blue's scales shifted color slightly as she spoke. "Our ship's distress beacon activated during the crash. It sends signals across great distances. Yes, others might come. Those who, like us, seek refuge from the war." The officials exchanged worried looks. "And what about those who caused the war? Could they follow?" Before Blue could answer, the door burst open. Beth, who owned the local diner, marched in with several other townspeople behind her. "Now you listen here," Beth said firmly, setting down a basket of fresh muffins. We've all gotten to know Blue and Star these past weeks. They're good folks, even if they're not from Earth. And we take care of our own in this town. Tom stepped forward. Beth's right. Blue has already shared their medical knowledge with Dr. Anna. Their understanding of cellular regeneration could help thousands of people. And Star, he smiled at the young alien. She's teaching our children about the wonders of space. Star clicked happily, arranging stones in the star path pattern she had been teaching at the local school. Children from the town had been visiting daily, learning alien games and sharing their own. Mr. Wilson rubbed his forehead. It's not that simple. If their distress beacon is active, we need protocols, preparations. Then let us help, Anna interrupted. Blue and Star already trust us. If more of their people come, they'll need friendly faces to greet them, people who understand both worlds. Blue touched the translator. Our people value peace. Those who might come are like us, families seeking safety. The ones who destroyed our world, they believe our kind too peaceful, too weak. They would not follow us to such a distant place. Lucy raised her hand, the way she did in school. Everyone turned to look at her. Star showed me pictures of their world, she said bravely. It was beautiful, with crystal trees and 3 moons. But it's gone now. Don't we have enough room to share our world? Star is my best friend. She doesn't take up too much space. The adults in the room fell silent. Star reached for Lucy's hand, their now familiar gesture of friendship making several people smile. Blue's scales glowed softly as she spoke again. We offer knowledge, healing, understanding of the stars. But most importantly, we offer friendship. Our children. She gestured to Star and Lucy. They show us the way. No weapons, no threats, just open hearts. Mr. Wilson looked at the 2 girls, then at the townspeople who had gathered. He saw Beth handing out muffins, saw the local teacher showing star path patterns to some children by the window, saw Tom and Anna standing protectively near Blue. Perhaps, he said slowly, we can create a new kind of protocol. One that starts with friendship instead of fear. Blue's translator hummed. On our world, we had a saying, the strongest bridges are built by the smallest hands. Look at our children. They build bridges without even knowing it. Outside the window, more local families were arriving, carrying food and gifts. Someone had hung a banner that read Welcome to Earth in both English and an attempt at the aliens' clicking language. The meeting continued into the afternoon, but something had changed. As they discussed plans for potential future arrivals, it wasn't just about protocols and security. It was about building a community that could bridge the gap between worlds. Star and Lucy slipped outside to play, their laughter mixing with clicking sounds. They didn't care about diplomatic decisions or government protocols. They had already figured out the most important thing. Friendship knows no boundaries, not even those between the stars. 3 months after the crash that brought Blue and Star to Earth, the forest around Tom's ranger station had transformed. A small settlement had grown there, with the old station at its heart. Solar panels glinted in the sunlight, a mix of Earth technology and the knowledge Blue had shared from her world. On this particular morning, Lucy ran excitedly toward the new building they called the Welcome Center. Star flew out to meet her, quite literally. One of the surprises they'd discovered was that Star's species could float briefly when happy, their scales creating a soft anti-gravity field. They're coming. Lucy called out, watching her friend hover. Dad says another ship just entered Earth's atmosphere. The translator device, now mounted on a wall inside the Welcome Center, picked up Star's excited clicks. More of our people. Maybe some of my friends survived. Inside, Blue stood with Tom and Anna, watching the radar screens. Her scales glowed with a mix of excitement and nervousness. Over the past months, she had become the official ambassador between her people and Earth, helping create what they called the Open Hearts Protocol, a peaceful way to welcome alien refugees. 2 families, Blue said through the translator. Their ships are damaged, like ours was. They followed our beacon. Tom picked up his radio. Search and rescue teams, stand by. Remember what we learned from the first landing. Medical teams, get ready. Anna, you're in charge. Anna smiled, checking her medical kit. Thanks to what they'd learned from helping Blue and Star, they were much better prepared now. The local hospital had even created a special wing just for alien treatment, with Anna leading the team. Outside, the townspeople were gathering. Beth from the diner had her food cart ready. They discovered that their visitors could eat most Earth foods, and her blueberry muffins had become Star's favorite. Lucy's grandfather Jack sat in his usual spot on the Welcome Center's porch, carving what looked like a wooden sign. He'd made it his mission to create name plaques for each new arrival, combining Earth letters with the clicking sounds of their language. The translator picked up Blue's words. 3 months ago, we crashed here as frightened refugees. Now we help others find safety. She touched the wall of the Welcome Center, her scales creating a beautiful pattern of light. This place, it has become what we call a heart home, a place where lost souls find belonging. Star and Lucy had started a game of star paths with some local children, the stones laid out in the new pattern they'd created together. A mix of Earth constellations and the star maps from Blue's world. The game had become popular in the local school, where Star now attended classes with Lucy. Look, someone shouted. 2 lights appeared in the sky, growing larger as they approached. Everyone moved into their prepared positions, but there was no fear, only excitement. This wasn't just a refugee center anymore. It was a place where 2 worlds met and made something new. The ships landed more smoothly than Blue's had, guided by the protocols they'd developed. As the doors opened, Star floated up again with joy. One of the children emerging from the ships was someone she knew. My friend. The translator caught her excited clicks. From my learning group. Lucy squeezed her hand. Now they can play star paths with us too. Blue stepped forward with Tom and Anna beside her as the new families emerge. The translator carried her greeting. Welcome to Earth. Welcome to your new heart home. The newcomers' scales lit up in recognition of one of their own, their clicks mixing with sounds of relief and hope. Children from both ships looked around in wonder, their fear fading as they saw Star playing happily with human children. As the sun set that evening, the Welcome Center was full of light, both from the aliens' glowing scales and from the warm lamps humans had set up. Children from 2 worlds played together, teaching each other games and learning new ways to laugh. Blue watched it all from the porch, her translator sharing her final thoughts of the day. On our lost world, we had a saying, hope grows best in gardens where different flowers bloom together. Earth has become such a garden. And in the growing darkness, the lights from the Welcome Center shone like a beacon, not just for more ships that might come seeking refuge, but for all who believe that the best kind of strength comes from opening your heart to those in need.